Hello everyone. This video is on acceptance. And sometimes we get so worked up because we see things that we don't want to see. We hear things we don't want to hear. We have this existential sorrow when we look around, see things going on in the world, and that we just can't accept it. It's just unacceptable. And a little bit, a pinch of non-acceptance is okay, because when we focus on something that we don't like, the opposite desire, the desire for it to be different, is received by the intelligence of the universe. It goes, oh, heard you, you don't want it to be like that, you want it to be like this. And that seed is planted. But the problem is we just don't just plant the seed. We keep digging it up and going, oh, I'm still not happy about it. I still can't believe this is going on. And so the seed keeps getting dug up and put back in the soil and dug up and put back in the soil, and it's not left alone. Thoughts are very powerful when you just think them gently. And thoughts are very powerful when you think them from a deep state. And as a siddhar, this is how we create effects in the environment. We think thoughts when we're in a transcendental state. And we meditate regularly, we transcend regularly, we're very familiar with that space. And then we start to think thoughts in that space. But we don't think them in a very demanding way, it's just a very light way. And the transcendence in the light request creates an effect. It's like an atomic bomb because it's thought at a deep level. And so non-acceptance, it keeps you on a very, very, very gross level. Whereas acceptance enables you to float down into a deeper, more transcendental level. And then when you think thoughts from that level, then it can actually create the effects that you desire. And so a pinch of non-acceptance creates the desire for what you want, but beating on it keeps you on a gross level, and then you don't get results. So when I see things that are going on in the world, I see them from a transcendental space and from a light space. It's almost like watching a violent movie with the sound turned off. You see things going on, it's chaotic, but the sound's not there, so there's a softness to it. And so you stay grounded in the para level, you stay grounded in the transcendental level. It's still while there's this activity going on. And if you can be still while there's activity going on, you can then come up with creative solutions. You can then not get so triggered and shut down. And there's a lot of changes that are going on in the world that people are not accepting and are very angry about. And so for us to evolve as a human species, it's very helpful to learn how to exist in a space which sees things that it wants the opposite of, but doesn't bang the drum of it over and over again, and is able to have stillness, a backdrop of stillness. So if you don't have an effortless meditation practice, that is something that you might want to do. Taking care of the body, taking care of the diet, because we can so easily get dysregulated and the more we're in a state of non-acceptance, the more easily it is for us to slip into dysregulation. And if a lot of people are slipping into dysregulation, then anything that's going on in the world is going to take longer to pass through and change because there's so much dysregulation in the individuals. And so returning to calm. How can I return to calm? What do I need to do to return to calm? For me, there's multitudes of ways to return to calm. I'm holding a beautiful snake here, Florence. She returns me to calm. She vibrates stillness. She's the epitome of stillness in activity. The minute I place her on my body, her grounded, still vibration affects my physiology. And I'm always spend a lot of time with Florence. She's a meditative aid. Also doing the effortless meditation twice daily, effortless yoga, going for walks, getting the sun or the light through the eyes, speaking to people, other human beings, from a space of curiosity, non-judgment, and compassion. Don't expect people to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. One day, one person's dysregulated and the other person's holding space for that. And the other day it switches. We never know who's going to be dysregulated at what time. And don't think you're better than anyone else and that, oh no, I never get dysregulated. Other people get dysregulated. Nonsense. We get given stress to dissolve. We get given things to dissolve. And sometimes it can be a lot if we're not taking care of ourselves and we're resisting it and we're not accepting. I don't want this emotion. I don't want the world to be this way. I'm angry about this. I hate these people. I hate that person. This should have been that way and now it's that and I'm no good. And so, oh, what do we need to return to calm? And you're not. You don't need me to tell you. You know yourself, you know what you can do to return to calm. And it's going to be different for different people. But setting aside silent time, because when we're in our silent time, in our meditative time, what happens is it's like the movie loses its soundtrack. So what's happening in the world doesn't seem so noisy. We get this distance from it because when we meditate effortlessly, we're expanding out so we don't feel so small and trapped in our situation and in our bodies and in our storylines and our timelines. And we expanding out, we become oceanic. And so we can hold space for what's going on. And it doesn't feel like it's so loud. And so if you haven't already got a meditation practice, I recommend you, if it resonates with you, start one, especially now. Because the more people that are entering stillness daily, creating these waves of stillness, the more peace we will have on the planet. And the animals are here and they are creating waves of stillness. Florence is creating waves of stillness just by existing outside of the thoughts. She's always present, aware, conscious, awake, still, and calm. So we can be more like Florence. I often look at animals and try to be more like them, less human. And that helps me return to calm. They forgive more easily and they're always more in the present moment and they're in their bodies and they're aware of what they need. And so We can learn from them. They're always able to sense what's going on in the environment, whereas humans are so stuck in their heads, they lose information all the time. They just lose so much information. And when you're stuck in your head, you lose the information. You lose your intuition, which is so valuable as a way of guiding us through life. And so I just would like you to take a moment to think of something that you're pushing against now, that you're not accepting, a person you're not accepting, a situation you're not accepting, something that's going on in your environment, in your neighborhood, in your body. And you can set a sankalp, a desire for it to be different. You can say, petition the universe, please. Could it be different? And then let it go. And then return back to yourself. And if there's anything that you can do to touch stillness in your life, to create calm, do that. And that will allow you to be in more of a state of acceptance. Non-acceptance, it has this kind of like rigidity to it. I don't accept this. It's like very rigid. It creates like tension in the atmosphere. Whereas I prefer it to be like this. I'm going to hold space for it to be like this. I'm going to petition the universe for it to be like this. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to return back to myself and be at peace. That's when things start to change and move spontaneously, because the rigidity keeps the system internally and externally stuck, the non-acceptance, and then the wishing it to be different releases, and then when we return back to calm, it plants the seed to grow. The returning back to calm is like the water for the seed. So a little sankalp, a wish for it to be different, and a returning to calm, watering the seed, and then just be nice to people. Be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to other people. If you need to set a boundary because it's smart, do so from a place of just common sense rather than anger. Always choose common sense over anger. Don't need to set boundaries with anger, just with common sense. And then life will just be easier for you and everybody else. So I pray, and Florence prays also, don't you, that we can create a world where there's more acceptance. And I accept that she might smash my mic, that she might destroy my sari, that she might even bite me one day. But regardless of what she does, she's Florence, and I love her, and I forgive her, and there's nothing really to forgive. And animals, you have to accept them the way they are. They demand that you do nothing but that. So I'll let her say goodbye to you now.